Hey YouTube, thank you for joining me. I'm glad you're here and just want to show you how to draw some textures for your artwork that may be handy and help you out here. So just sit back and watch, and you can draw as you go. And I'm just using some watercolor paper with an ink pen. So um, I'll zoom in here, just show you here, just doing some wood texture. And please subscribe and like and leave a comment if you wish. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, once you get the pattern going, it can be intimidating, but it's quite easy. Mind you, I'm using a cube here just to show you different shading. And bear in mind your light source and keep that consistent. So this side here is on the opposite side of the light source. So obviously it's going to be a bit darker. So the top here will be lighter than the sides. You can maybe do that in pencil actually, just to remind yourself of your light source, and you can erase it later. I did it in ink just so it stands out a little more easier for you to see it. So this is a tree bark texture. I'm not going too heavily detailed, just it's more for representation, so it's up to you how detailed you want to go or not. So, and for the sake of the video, I like to keep my videos around 12 minutes, so I'm not going super heavy detail, and I did speed up the camera a little bit, so. So as soon as you become comfortable with it, you can obviously use this for your future artwork and any different projects you're working on. So same thing, keep your light source consistent in your artwork, and you got to remind yourself of that, otherwise it will not look proper if you have different light sources here. So what I'm actually using here now is just a diluted ink. You can actually use diluted watercolor. So I'm just using black for the sake of it. So it's just a small half-inch brush that I'm using. And if it's not dark enough, you just go back over top of it just to darken it up a bit for your shadow areas there. So this is kind of almost like hatching, so it can be used for fur, grass, any form of texture. You can make them different lengths just to make it look more natural. Here I've sped up the camera just so you can see it a little bit clearer. I mean, quicker, sorry. And the side opposite of the light source will be darker and shaded. One thing when you're doing your textures, just to keep in mind to not go too heavy in your detail, obviously, in the sake if you're trying to keep the shape obvious of the form that you are drawing. So this texture here, I use it a lot from when I'm drawing tree bushes and small bushes, plants, whatever. I just using the cube shape because it's the easiest way to show your for representation, just so you can kind of get an idea of your shadow and your light source. So I'm barely touching the paper here at the top though, but did go a little bit dark, so I just went back in the light side just to keep the shape obvious. So this here is actually what we called stippling, or a lot of artists use this. I've seen artists do an entire rendering just with this. It can actually be a little bit hard on the hands though, so you're going to find when you do this, you're going to be taking a lot of breaks, and it can be a little bit hard on your pen, on the nib end. So if you have like a drafting pen with a metal tip, that would probably be better for this, because this does kill your typical ink pens on the nib end. It will bend it a bit. So on the shadow side, you're basically just doubling up the amount of stippling you're doing. With the same dots, just more of a concentrated amount, just to show the shaded area. So, and at the top, just go very, very light. And you can go back, like here, I'm going back just to sort of keep the shape, so you can see the shape of the cube. So this is kind of organic. I'm just using different sizes of circles. I'm not really putting a lot of thought into it. I'm just doing big circles and filling in the little areas with small circles. It's good if you're maybe doing like types of animals like lizards and frogs, or not frogs, but animals with that scaly skin, so like fishes and stuff like that. So you wouldn't necessarily use circles, but I think you get the point. So I'm just darkening up the spaces in between the large circles just to show the shading again. I'm like barely touching the paper at the top. What I should say is I'm using like no pressure at the top when I do the top. So I'm using the Staedtler ink pens, and they are fairly strong, so you get used to the type of ink pen you're using first, just to try it on a practice sheet of paper, like do what I'm doing here, just to get the hang of it. So this is just some wood grain here. This would be like a cutaway section of like a block of wood. Maybe if you get a chance, just look at some wood and just sort of study the texture of it. Take a few pictures. Go into Google and just type in wood grain in Google Images, and just look at a few pictures, and you can follow. That way, you can follow some photo references. Again, very light at the top. And just showing some cracks in the wood with the dark areas there. I'll be doing some other tutorials on texture here, so I don't know, you can use this, I don't know, this is just some random thing I just thought of. I didn't really plan this particular one here, so cracks in the earth, dry ground, or whatever, so. So thank you for watching my video, and I hope it's helped you, and please like, subscribe, or don't like, or leave a comment in the comment section below for any future videos you wish me to do. Thanks, and bye for now.